Hi friends, welcome to a new space session. Before going to the topic, let me ask you a question. What is the peculiarity of July 20th? Any idea? I have a clue. It's about Satellite Day. Yes, International Moon Day is observed on July 20th. By the way, what device helped us to find or get a clear view of moon? Yes, telescope. Today we are going to discuss about the magic device telescope. Yes, we all know that telescope is used to magnify the distant objects like outer space. Do you know the meaning of telescope? The word tele means far and the scope means viewing or see. Now let's discuss about the history of telescope. The earliest record of telescopic observation date back to the ancient civilizations. Do you know about civilizations? Yes, some of you heard about the Egyptian and Mesopotamian civilizations. In a way, the earliest record of telescopic observations date back to the civilizations like Greek, Egyptian, and Babylonians. So, the astronomers who lived during this civilization period means when the civilizations emerged. At that period, the astronomers used simple optical devices. For example, there is a Nimrod lens. It is a kind of lens which we excavated from the palace of Nimrod from the ancient Assyria, means nowadays Iraq. This type of lenses are used by the early astronomers to magnify distant objects. Have you seen the picture of Nimrod lens? Here is it. Now, let's discuss about the medieval era's observation of telescope. The period between 11th and 15th century was termed as medieval period. Anyway, the beginning of medieval period, that means in 11th century, the Arab scholars introduced the concepts of using lenses for magnification. Ibn al-Haytham, he was a renowned Arab scientist and mathematician who wrote extensively about optics. Optics means which are related to eyes and also the light. And he described many about the principles of lenses and also their potential applications. So potential applications mean their capabilities or their strength. Here is the picture of Ibn al-Haytham. Now you might have understood the early observations of telescope. Now let's discuss the basic of telescope evolution. It took place in 17th century, that means early modern era. In 1608, Hans Lippershey, he was a Dutch eyeglass maker. Dutch means Netherlands, the person who lived in Netherlands. So he was a Dutch eyeglass maker who is often credited with inventing the first refracting telescope. Telescope is mainly three: a refracting telescope, a reflecting telescope, and compound telescope. So the first refracting telescope was made by Hans Lippershey in 1608. Okay, so he made use of convex objective lens and concave eyepiece lens. Here is the picture of Hans Lippershey and his refractive telescope. Shortly after Galileo Galilei, we all know that we studied in primary classes about Galileo Galilei, isn't it? That he invented the telescope. Anyway, now we understood that behind him, Hans Lippershey invented the first refracting telescope. Okay, Galileo Galilei made significant improvement to this refracting telescope made by Hans Lippershey and built in 1609. That means 1 year after the invention of Hans Lippershey, he built a telescope with high magnification power. And The invention of Galileo Galilei resulted in the groundbreaking astronomical observations such as the moons of Jupiter and also the phases of Venus. Now you might have understood the basics of telescopic evolution or the history of refracting telescope. Now let's see the history of reflecting telescope. In 1668, Sir Isaac Newton invented the reflecting telescope. So we all know that who is Isaac Newton? Yes, he was the person who found the gravitational force of Earth. Okay, so Sir Isaac Newton used mirrors instead of lenses in order to gather and focus light. Yes, we've seen that in the refracting telescope we make use of lenses. But in the case of the telescope, that means a reflecting telescope made by Isaac Newton, it uses mirrors. You have to keep this in mind that refraction is related to lens and reflection is related to mirrors. Anyway, let's continue the session that Sir Isaac Newton eliminated all the chromatic aberrations related to the refracting telescope. So what is chromatic aberrations? It is a phenomenon in which the the light rays which falls on lenses can't gather the light rays to one point. It may be different in different points. Okay. That is why Sir Isaac Newton used mirrors instead of lenses in his telescope in order to gather light to one point. Okay. So after the invention of Sir Isaac Newton, many other astronomers, including James Gregory and Cassegrain, refined and expanded Newton's design, and it led to the sophisticated or the development of sophisticated reflecting telescopes. Sophisticated means advanced. Here you can see the picture of Isaac Newton and his reflecting telescope. Now let's see the modern advancement. In 19th and 20th century, numerous advancements took place in telescopic technology and the development of large observatories and the introduction of photography for astronomical imaging greatly enhanced the telescopic technology. Now let's discuss the other advancement took place in modern era. So the development of spectroscopy. What is the spectroscopy? Okay, so this is actually the study of absorption and emission. Emission means releasing. Absorption and emission of light and other radiations by matter. This study is called spectroscopy. Okay, so development of spectroscopy provide insights to the composition and properties of stars and galaxies. What ways the spectroscopy helped us? Yes, by providing insight to the composition, and composition means content. Okay, so composition and properties of stars and galaxies. Okay, now let's discuss about the mid-20th advancement. So in mid-20th, radio telescopes were invented. What are these radio telescopes? Do you know that? Here you can see the picture of radio telescopes. This is actually an antenna. Yes, we all know that we use antennas by placing it at the top of our house for getting signals. These antennas also used for that purpose itself. That means to get signals. Radio telescopes are radio receivers which detect the radio waves from the astronomical radio sources of sky. So what are the astronomical radio sources of sky? Yes, mainly galaxies, nebulas, and also pulsars. Do you know what is pulsars? It is actually a rotating neutron star. So what are the uses of radio telescopes? It is used to detect and amplify. Amplify means increase. So detect and amplify the radio waves from space, turning them into signals that astronomers use this to understand the universe. Let's discuss about the different type of telescopes. So we already discussed that there are three type of telescopes are mainly, that means refracting telescopes and compound telescopes. So we already discussed about the refracting telescopes, that means they are developed in 17th century, and it is actually used a combination of lenses, and also it suffered from chromatic aberrations. Okay, so it is actually limited in size too because of the weight of the lenses. Okay, so that are the features of refracting telescopes. And next, let's discuss about the refracting telescope. So we already discussed that it is developed by the Sir Isaac Newton. He used mirrors instead of lenses in order to gather and focus light. He used curved mirrors. After reflection, the light will falls on secondary mirror, which then directed light to the eyepiece or camera. And these telescopes were allowed larger apertures. Apertures means the small opening to the lenses or mirror. This led to the improved qualities and also the light gathering capabilities. Now let's discuss about the compound telescopes. In the 18th century, the astronomers like William Herschel experimented using this compound telescope. Actually, this is a mixture or a combination of refracting telescope and reflecting telescope. It used refracting objective lens with reflecting secondary lens. The aim of the compound telescope was to address the limitation of the refracting telescope while maintaining the advantages of the refracting telescope. Now, let's discuss about the refractive telescope advancement. What are the advancement of refracting telescopes? Over time, significant improvements were made to the refracting telescopes, such as the achromatic lenses in 18th century and epochromatic lenses in 19th century. What are these achromatic lenses and epochromatic lenses? So, about achromatic lenses, it is actually a specialized lenses which is designed to prevent or control the chromatic aberration or distortions. This is called achromatic lenses, and it is widely known as achromat. And about the achromatic double lens, it is a combination of two lenses in order to focus of light in same position. Epochromatic lenses means they are the improved version of the achromatic schemes extend to focus the wavelength of light significantly. Now let's continue our session. So this helped in improving the image quality of lenses of refracting telescopes. However, reflecting telescopes were used by the astronomers as they have large aperture capabilities. Now let's discuss about the modern types of telescopes. So in 20th century, significant advancement took place in telescopic technology. Reflecting telescopes continue their domination as they have large observatories with mirror segments and adaptive optics in order to compensate. Compensate means prevent the atmospheric distortions. Distortion means aberrations. Okay, development of space telescopes like Hubble Space Telescope revolutionized the astronomy by providing clear view of universe unhindered by Earth's atmosphere. So about Hubble Space Telescope. It is a space telescope which was launched on the Earth's orbits in 1990 and remains operations. It was not the first telescope, but it is the largest and most versatile. Versatile means having more uses with one object. That means in the case of Hubble Space Telescope, it have more uses. And it is renowned as a vital tool of research. Vital means important. So Hubble Space Telescope is an important tool of researchers. and also has a public relation boon for astronomy. Okay, so that means public relation boons means uh, after seeing the pictures of universe which is sent by the Hubble Space Telescope, we feel gratitude towards the researchers who control this Hubble Space Telescope. That is boon. Okay, so this Hubble Space Telescope are renowned both the vital tool of researchers and also has the public boon for astronomy. Okay, so actually this Hubble Space Telescope named after the astronomer Edwin Hubble. Here you can see the picture of Edwin Hubble. The Space Telescope is a great observatory of NASA, and the Space Telescope Science Institution selects the Hubble's target and processing the resulting data while the Goddard Space Flight Center controls this spacecraft. Which spacecraft? Yes, Hubble Space Telescope. By which center? Yes, Goddard Space Flight Center. So now you might have understood about the Hubble Space Telescope. Now let's see about the other space telescopes like Kepler Space Telescope. So it is a disused telescope which launched by the NASA in 2009 in order to discover the other Earth-like planets rotating other suns. Okay, so here you can see the picture of Kepler. So anyway, it is named after the astronomer Johannes Kepler. Here you can see the picture of Johannes Kepler. Okay, so this is a small description of Kepler Space Telescope. Now let's see about the James Webb Space Telescope. This is the most modern telescope. James Webb Telescope is a telescope which is conducting its infrared astronomy. As it is the largest telescope in space, it is equipped with high sensitivity and high resolution instruments in order to view too old, distant or faint for the Hubble Space Telescope. Here is a picture of James Webb Space Telescope and also the pictures sent by the James Webb Space Telescope. Now you might have understood about the James Space Telescope. Now let's see what are the features of Chandra X-ray Space Telescope. So the early name of this Chandra Space X-ray Telescope is that Advanced X-ray Astrophysics Telescope. Facilities. It is a flagship space telescope which was launched aboard in the space shuttle of Columbia by NASA in July 23rd, 1999. So now we understood about the four type of space telescopes: James Webb Space Telescope, Kepler Space Telescope, Chandra X-ray Space Telescope, and also Hubble Space Telescope. Now let's discuss about the plans of telescopic technology for the future. Okay, so the future is promising us by ongoing technological advancement. The new telescopes and observatories such as James Webb Space Telescope will definitely provide us even more capabilities for the study of cosmos. And these instruments will provide even more sensitivity and improved resolutions and expanded wavelength coverages and enabling us and astronomers to explore the universe. Anyway, our class or our discussion is actually a glimpse to the technology. Which technology? Telescope technology. So anyway, it is a fascinating journey towards the telescopic technology centuries.